I'd like to welcome you all to this most auspicious day, the breaking of ground on the construction of the new Nancy and Stephen Grand family house at Mission Bay. My name is Drew McKnight, and I'm the chairperson of the Capital Campaign and a Family House board member. I'm so proud to be standing before you today. This ceremony marks the beginning of the next phase of a vision that was formed more than 30 years ago to provide free housing for the families of children being treated for cancer and other life-threatening illnesses at the UCSF Children's Hospital. When completed in 2016, we will be just blocks away from the new UCSF Benny Hoff Children's Hospital and ready to serve our families for the next 30 years. I'd now like to introduce Mayor of San Francisco, Ed Lee, and San Francisco District 6 Supervisor, Jane Kim.
Thank you, Drew. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Mission Bay. Well, I know the supervisor and I enjoy coming here because every time we're here, we make another joined to make another great announcement for the city of San Francisco. Today is awfully special. And I must say, if I'm looking out of the audience, I see a lot of special people out here as well. And you've got to hear it constantly from your mayor. Thank you, thank you, thank you for everybody and all that you do to make our city great. Today is another example in a tradition of, I think, great families that have helped so many people. We establish and groundbreak today the Stephen and Nancy Grand family house here in Mission Bay. And, you know, we're down here at an extraordinary time when the Benny Hoff Children's Hospital is operating, where it's next to the great research centers of UC San Francisco, where there's an incredible array of innovation that is going on, innovation that will support solutions to life's most pressing problems, be they diseases or other social challenges. And right here on this site is an incredible example of not only philanthropy, but commitment, of care, of passion. And I just wanted to say, personally, I know for Nancy and Stephen, I've had a chance to talk to them about this. It's more than just their generosity. It really is their passion. For Nancy, a lifetime of commitment to the research, to the treatment of cancer. It's personal to her. To Stephen, it's personal to him for obvious reasons, going through that disease and experiencing it for himself. That personal experience, ladies and gentlemen, resolves and turns into a commitment that others should not have to go through the kind of tribulations when they're trying to care for their kids. To have the family house, their physical support, their emotional support, the care that will happen on this house is an incredible story that we care for people, not just to try to find, and I hope and pray that the kids and families that are going to go through this treatment are here just very infrequent, just a brief time. But should it be necessary for the families to be here for an extended time, Family House is here to take care of them at no cost, to try to ease the pain of that treatment. This is an incredible story. It fills a tremendous need of gap, but it's also a reflection of how people in San Francisco continue to care for each other. And so I say to you and to the Grand family and the Family House, thank you, thank you, thank you for this wonderful opportunity to demonstrate what we do here to reduce the tribulations of life, to find the answers and cures in diseases, but as we do so, to make life just a little bit more satisfying for those trying families. Thank you all for being here. I join you in not only turning the dirt, we will be here when this house opens with all of you. Tremendous spirit of our city. Thank you very much for joining all of us.
Good morning and welcome to Mission Bay and welcome to District 6. When I ran for this position 4 years ago, we were at the bottom of a recession, and the big statement was, when are we going to see construction and jobs return to our neighborhoods? Little did I know that a year and a half later, that the mayor and I would be attending groundbreakings and ribbon cuttings almost every week here in this district. It is incredibly exciting to represent a district that is so dynamic and growing at the pace that it is, and setting the model of what future smart growth neighborhoods look like. Here in Mission Bay, we are committed to 30% affordable housing thanks to redevelopment and the Mayor's Office of Housing. We also have employers coming here like UCSF and now Uber and the Warriors, and we'll have entertainment, residential, healthcare, and housing right here. In fact, this is where I come for my healthcare. But speaking of the family house, I can't tell you how important this institution will be for so many families. I unfortunately have several friends that are struggling with cancer and leukemia now that are my age. And it is incredibly amazing to watch some of my friends who are growing in their career and then have to stop where they are to become caretakers for their partners as they struggle to live and survive. And when you're on this trajectory, you don't often think that you're economically unstable because you know that you have paychecks coming for decades into the future. But when you have to stop working and to take care of your loved one, it is so important to have places like this where you can live for free and be near the person that you are taking care of. And I've had many friends who've had the fortune and the opportunity to stay near the hospital where their loved one was getting treatment for free, just a block away from their hospital, but a warm and beautiful place that also brings compassion and care for them. So I know the love and the comfort that a place like this will bring to so many people who are struggling with some of the hardest challenges that they've experienced in their life. So I want to thank all the members and the board of directors of the Family House and the staff that is making this possible, and of course all the members of this community that helped to make a place like this happen. So congratulations, and I'm really proud to be here at this groundbreaking. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Lee and Supervisor Kim. I'd now like to introduce Family House co-founder, Dr. Art Ablin, to talk about the vision of Family House 30 years ago and the vision going forward.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you. Thank you very much. Family House is not an accident. Family House was born out of necessity and compassion. Necessity because sick children, seriously ill children with rare diseases must travel long distances from their home to receive proper care. There is no insurance that pays for families when they have to travel that distance and stay for days, weeks, months, or in some cases years, while they're receiving that treatment. Children need to be near their parents, and parents need to be near their children. Parents who have children are generally young and not wealthy. There is no insurance that one can buy, and think about this, that if your husband or your wife or your child are ill and have to travel great distances to receive care, there's no insurance that you can buy that will pay for you to stay in that city away from your home. So Family House was born out of great necessity. Family House was born also out of deep compassion. In the 1960s and 1970s, I had the opportunity, I had the experience firsthand to take care of families who were uprooted from their homes, had to travel to San Francisco to receive a diagnosis that often meant that their child would be seriously ill for long periods of time or die. Those parents, when they came, were confronted not only with a new diagnosis, they were not only confronted with a new hospital, a new doctor, a new nurse, a new experience, they also faced deep financial hardships. And when they finally got their child settled down, hopefully, in a strange room, they began to think about where are they going to stay. And in the 60s and 70s, there was no place for them, except on a floor mat on the floor of the hospital, for which there were a limited number, and they had to draw a lottery to get a floor mat to sleep next to their child's bed. Or they slept in their cars, on a couch in a waiting room, or they sat up all night. Family house had to be, there was no question. In 1981, I was fortunate enough to have some of my families of children that I was taking care of, extremely capable people who gathered together and started Family House. Some of those people are here tonight. John and Ann Leonardo, Dan and Kathleen Toney, David Joy, Joan Fenton, Mike Alvarez. And together, we started Family House in 1981 for 9 families. We had no paid employees. The board took care of it. We had a manager who was compensated only with a free apartment. And we took care of people for no charge. We went from 9 to 10 families and from 10 to 34. We appreciated we were taking care of less than half of the families who really needed our care. We raised our budget, and to listen to me say this to my own ears sounds unimaginable. We raised our budget every year for 33 years. But we did more than help families with finances. We realized that there's nobody better than another family in your situation that could be of help. So we encourage families to be together, to talk about their experience. And they were wonderfully supportive. This is a major thing that Family House does. It allows people to help themselves. We have a wonderful board of directors that's continued to raise money to run Family House. And we have an unimaginably efficient, effective staff. We have dreamt, however, for the last 30 years of helping all those families that we're not able to take care of. And again, together with our extraordinary board and our very capable staff, and you, our donors and supporters, we're about to fulfill that dream. And I can't tell you, and if it's not showing in my voice, I can feel it up and down my spine. I can't tell you how excited and thrilled I am. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you, Art. I'd now like to introduce UCF CEO Mark Laret and Chancellor Sam Hawgood to talk about the partnership between Family House and UCSF.
Well, on behalf of the thousands of physicians and employees who call UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital their work home, we could not be happier than to celebrate this day today. I came to UCSF in 2000. Seems like a long time ago, and when we first looked at our circumstances, we realized we were going to need to build a new hospital for a whole bunch of reasons, including seismic reasons, and we settled on this Mission Bay campus. But among the very first conversations we had was, what about Family House? Because for us in the Benioff Children's Hospital, imagining trying to operate a hospital without Family House is like trying to operate a hospital without operating rooms, or without a laboratory, or without food service. It's become essential. It's essential for our staff who lean on it heavily, and obviously for the patients and their families. I do want to say something about Art and Debbie and all of those who had the vision to start Family House. You saw a big need that was exceeded only by your compassion and your vision. But what overwhelms me every time I spend time with Art and Debbie and Alexandra and the entire Family House team, it's the love. The love for others who are less fortunate, the love for others who are in difficult circumstances. It just permeates everything you do. And so it is just truly a privilege to be part of something that Art and Debbie Ablin are associated with. I'll say one other thing about Art and Debbie. Art has said many times, probably said it to all of you as he's been trying to raise money, said there are many great causes, including the UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital just down the street, but there is no better cause than Family House, and that is for certain. And now it's my privilege to turn the microphone over to UCSF's newest and 10th Chancellor. He's a pediatrician himself, a neonatologist. He was chair of the Department of Pediatrics, dean of the School of Medicine, and a great human being. Please join me in welcoming Chancellor Sam Hawgood.
Thank you, Mark, and on behalf of the entire UCSF family, I would like to add my thanks to Art and Debbie and the Family House Board, who have really performed a miracle here in raising the money to build this marvelous new building. You know, as you go through a career, and mine now extends 3 decades, you accumulate heroes, role models, people that you look up to. And at the very top of my list of heroes are Art and Debbie Ablin for the work that they have done. Mark mentioned that I'm a pediatrician. I was a pediatrician. I think I would be dangerous if asked to perform any medicine at this point. I'm now a suit. But I was a practicing neonatologist, newborn intensive care, where we looked after over 1,200 incredibly sick babies each year, and half of those approximately were flown in from all over Northern California and sometimes all over the Western United States. And as Art so beautifully expressed, that they arrived frequently at 2 a.m. in the morning, completely disoriented, in shock after what they thought was going to be a normal pregnancy, and Family House was there to step in and support them. I guess we'll get used to the construction noise on this site here in just a little bit. Family House, however, is more than just four walls and a free bed. It is certainly that. But it is a haven, a refuge for families, and a total support to families and their patients. Our staff, our faculty appreciate deeply what Family House brings to our repertoire to help families. The Mayor mentioned the research campus, which is immediately behind you. 2 million square feet of research and several thousand scientists and staff working to discover new therapies for disease. That's an important part of UCSF, a part we are extremely proud of. But Family House is the beating heart of UCSF, the compassionate arm, and we are so proud and privileged to have the partnership that we have with Family House. So, as others have before me, thank you, thank you, thank you for all of you've done to make this day a reality, and I look forward to turning some dirt over here in just a few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you, Sam. Before Nancy and Stephen Grand got involved with Family House, just less than 2 years ago, we had raised less than $11 million. We had a dream and we had a vision, but a lot of people we met with looked at us like we were crazy when they heard we had to raise $40 million. Luckily for all of us and our families, Nancy and Stephen didn't. Thanks to their generosity, we've now raised over $35 million and are within $5 million of our goal. It's with great pleasure. It's with great pleasure that I introduce the namesakes of the new Family House, Nancy and Stephen Grand.
Needless to say, this is a very thrilling day. In fact, I have to acknowledge the band because when Stephen and I drove up today, I got out of the car. I wasn't that excited yet. All of a sudden, the band starts playing the theme from Rocky. And I thought, what could be more fitting to get everyone in the mood for what this is all about? As you have read, I'm sure by now that we became aware of this need when Stephen was inpatient at UCSF being treated for cancer. And I stayed in his room with him. As we all know, that's the only place you can really be when someone you love is so ill. And at night, I would just stroll the halls, and right by the public bathroom was a waiting room that during the day was full of popcorn boxes and hot dogs, and at night, we talk about that mat that people had to draw lots for. The waiting room was full of people fully clothed, sleeping on the floor so they could be by their children who were in the intensive care unit, which was right there. I knew what it felt like to want to be with someone because I was sleeping on the floor myself. The difference was I got to go home in the morning and take a shower, and these families had nowhere else to go, probably nowhere else they really could be. When Stephen recovered, we decided to look what was available for families with sick children, and we found Family House. And you know how timing is everything. Wouldn't you know it, they had been trying to raise funds for the new Family House, which could treat twice as many families. And how could we say no? It was just so perfect, the timing, the mission. And I can't tell you how proud we are to be here today to see this dream of everybody's being realized. And it's just a thrilling moment. Thank you all for being here and joining with us in this joyous day. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy, and thank you, Stephen. I'd now like to introduce Family House Board Chair Scott Miller and CEO Alexandra Morgan to talk about the future of Family House.
Hello, you fabulous people! Woohoo! We did Alexandra Morgan, and it's been my extreme pleasure to run Family House on the staff level for the past 13 years. I'm joined by our chairman and the brains and humor of Family House, Scott Miller. As we march into the future, this lot is going to, of 30,000 square feet of dirt and asphalt and gravel and all that, is going to turn into 96,000 square feet of lean and mean, loving and compassionate housing for our families, so that we never have to turn away anybody who needs our services. And it's all because of you who are here, everybody up on the stage, and we want to say thank you. Thank you. These lovely people from the city who are here, who just stuck with us and made this happen, our board members. We have a few people to thank individually, so Scott, let's do that.
Thank you, Alexandra. You know, as we celebrate the future of Family House today, on behalf of the Board of Directors, it's my privilege to take a quick second to recognize the people that helped get us here. First and foremost, of course, Art and Debbie Ablin, whose passion and commitment for this cause is unwavering today as it was 33 years ago. I also want to take a moment to recognize Alexandra, who for the last 3 years has eat, breathed, slept, just worked tirelessly on this entire project. There's nothing she can't do, and there's nothing she won't do for support of our families and for this cause. So, Alexandra, thank you so much for that. I need to say a special thanks to Bob Nibby, who, along with Lydia Tan, came up with the original plan for Block 7. Their plan was to build both 200 affordable housing units just across the way over here and 80 rooms for Family House right on this property we're standing on now. And as I took over for Bob as board chair a couple of years ago, he said, all you got to do is get UCSF related, Mission Bay Development Corp, and what will soon be the defunct redevelopment agency, all to agree on the plan and just get it done. Easy, right? Thanks. I think I was 18 when we started this, actually, so not quite. But thank you, Bob. You were indeed the man with the plan. And since we had, yeah, Bob. Once we had the plan to get the land, we assembled a truly amazing team for Mission Bay, headed up by Steve Goldfarb, who's here with us today, Sue Diamond, who is our project counsel, and so much more than that for Family House, who's with us also, Lawrence Pelosi and Chris Guell and Chris's team at Platinum Advisors, and our truly incredible team of attorneys, Karen Tiedemann, Luis Rodriguez at Goldfarb and Littman. I would love to spend the next 18 months telling you all about the excitement we had in the land acquisition process, but we have a building to build, so I will continue. You know, our plan had a lot of moving parts and a lot of complexity, and I have to thank Seth Hamalian and Erica Ray from Mission Bay Development Corp, because from day one, when they heard of the plan and listened to what we wanted to do, they were on board and fully supportive. And given they own the land that we're actually sitting on today, it was important to have them on board, and their support was unwavering. So thank you guys for that. In addition to the great support we received from Mayor Ed Lee and his staff, Olson Lee and his staff at then the redevelopment agency were incredibly helpful in shepherding us through the process. We didn't know it at the time, but we were about to go into a bit of a tumultuous time in the history of redevelopment and development at Mission Bay, and where we were eager, impatient, at times maybe a little impetulant. All of his staff members were really incredibly helpful. Christine Johnson, Theo Ellington, Marcia Smolens, of course, Tiffany Dohe, who spoke so eloquently on our behalf, is here today. Christine Maher were just really incredibly helpful throughout the process. I also have to say a special thanks to Catherine Riley, who's here. I think Catherine showed up late to work the day they gave out assignments for Mission Bay, because she was assigned to us, much to our good fortune, and was really an incredible aid and incredible guide through the whole process. So thank you, Catherine, and thank you to the rest of the OCII staff. We soon realized that we had big plans, but actually no money with which to do it with. So I want to say a special thanks to Drew McKnight, Paul Finnegan, Spencer Wang, and Alexandra, who really were the leaders of our capital campaign. As Drew mentioned, we are nearly at our goal. And Drew and Alexandra, Spencer, Paul, and the rest of the committee, my hat's off to you for doing an incredible job and getting us to where we are. Many of our major donors are here tonight, obviously, or today, so thank you to all of you as well. I also have to especially thank the Kalmanovitz Foundation, who almost 4 years ago came in with our lead gift and what is now still one of our largest gifts. When this was still very much a figment of our imaginations and a dream, they really stepped up, not knowing what the building would look like, not knowing if there'd be a building, but really got our campaign off the ground. So thank you to the Kalmanovitz Foundation. We've got an amazing finance team headed up by Kevin Keenley, Jessica Krieger on staff, and our partners with Northern Trust have now come up with a plan to turn our campaign pledges into construction reality. So we're thrilled to be working with them. We also have a great team working on our new market tax credits, Equity Community Builders, Capital One, and the folks at the Northern California Community Loan Fund are also great partners in the project. So thank you to them as well. As you guys are well aware, we are so lucky to have UCSF here in our local community. We have the best and the brightest minds in the world right here in our backyard. And so Chancellor Sam Hawgood, Mark Laret, Kim Skur, the entire staff at UCSF, we've been working together for 33 years to care for these families. And we really are so thrilled to have the Future Family House and the partnership that we do going forward. So thank you to UCSF, the entire staff, and we look forward to our future together. As you can see from some of the designs and the pictures behind you, we have an incredible building on its way. And that's thanks to the hard work by our design and construction team, Roger Swanson, Kevin Williams, Cambridge Construction Management, who's our owner's rep, Lady Matham and Stacy, our architects, and of course, Nibby Brothers Construction, who we know is going to do a bang-up job on our building. We have the best and the brightest assembled. And of course, last but not least, a huge thank you to Nancy and Stephen Grand. As you know, their generosity knows no bounds, and as we've heard earlier, they know firsthand what it's like to face cancer and to do so far from home, and they understand what our families go through every day. So 2 years ago, as Drew said, this project was a dream. In a few minutes, we're about to turn their dream and all of our dreams into reality. So thank you very much. Now I believe Alexandra. Yeah.
So what is the reason we're all here? It's because of our families. And I am so proud to introduce you to Jayme King, who's got quite a story. She's currently facing down cancer for the 4th time in her young life. I can tell you that her courage and poise and humor and gratitude are, an inspiration to me all the time. I think about Jayme a lot because she's one of the cool kids, and I always wanted to be, and she is, so I try to hang out with her. But I truly want you to give a warm welcome to Jayme King, who I am so proud to call my friend.
Thank you. First of all, I'd just like to say what an honor it is to be a part of this day. I was flattered when Alexandra approached me about speaking here today. Had an opportunity last summer to speak in front of the city council, and they said, you have to come back. You have to come speak to the most important people to us, and those are our donors. And so that's really why I'm here today. I was diagnosed 3 years ago with Ewing sarcoma. Like Alexandra said, I'm just getting ready to start my 4th go-around with it, and I just turned 23. As far as treatment goes, I've done it all. I have done chemo. I did an extensive knee surgery that allows me to stand here today on my own 2 feet. I went through a bone marrow transplant, radiation, and people kind of ask what it's like. It's hard to describe. I don't think there's any words that you can put into the same sentence that make any sense. But I would say in the last 3 years, my family and I have been through more hardships than anybody should ever have to go through in a lifetime. But that's kind of where Family House comes in and shines a light for families like mine. There was times at the beginning of my treatment where we would travel 500 miles round trip to get here and spend thousands of dollars on hotel rooms, or my parents would sleep in our car in the parking garage because we weren't aware kind of of family house and the service that they provided. Once we were introduced to the people at Family House, it just lifted this burden from not only myself to heal, but from my family. Sorry. Because not only do you suffer as a patient, your family suffers directly because of that. Family House has provided a lot of good things, though. I've met so many families and so many staff members that I've made lifelong friendships with. Young kids at Family House I shared a room with, like, the entire time I had my bone marrow transplant, and I still keep in contact with them, and some other friends. Just one I'd like to mention, her name is Kara. She passed away early this week. She's someone that I met through Family House and made a lifelong friendship with, and without Family House, that wouldn't have been possible. Family House also provides some essential things, such as gas cards to get to and from Nevada, where my family and I live. If there was a time where didn't have money to buy food, you're sure that the cupboards at Family House are stocked and with good food and donations from people coming in all the time. Some fun things that Family House, some fun things that Family House has provided us. Anybody in here a Giants fan? I might fight to say that I'm the biggest Giants fan in the room, and I don't live in San Francisco, but we've got to go to so many games because of connections and good people wanting you to have a little normalcy in your life. So Family House provided my family kind of with the trip of a lifetime. About a week ago, in my family growing up, we have been Dallas Cowboys and 49er football fans. My mom and I, sadly, yes, we are the Cowboys fans, and everybody else is Niner fans. Family House got us the tickets, and which really allowed us to take that trip, and it was really special. We don't get to go do a whole lot of things like that because we are limited on what we can do with treatments. But what Family House is doing in creating this state-of-the-art facility and not having to turn away families like mine is an absolutely extraordinary thing that they're doing, and I cannot wait to see just the results and meet more families through this wonderful place. So again, I'm honored to be here and be a part of this day, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Jayme. I think it's time to break some ground.
All right, everyone. And 3, 2, 1.